I want to try to make this as painless and as fast as possible. The Seven Kings of Mystery Babylon ends up being eight because of twin towers symbolism. We know the Pizza Hut commercial where he compared himself to Napoleon and Alexander the Great. So, guess that would have been nice if I would have had that prepped. I tried to get everything prepped, but Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump were all cut from the same cloth, and that cloth is very, very large. Pizza Hut commercial. So, New Yorker, Pizza Hut commercial, YouTube. So, here it goes. So, let's turn up a little volume. I know that was a song in the 80s.
Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump. Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump. Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump.
And then he's going to say we're all cut from the same cloth, and that cloth is very, very large because it's a large span of time through antiquity.
We're all from the same cloth.
And that cloth is very, very large. That's the time frame.
And that cloth is very, very large.
And there's your twin symbolism. The twins, the eighth is of the seven. So now we're going to cut to some photos. In the movie The Devil's Advocate, Donald Trump was supposed to be here tonight, but he had a business emergency. Then we're going to cut to the fact that they used Trump Tower in The Devil's Advocate. Trump Tower was used in The Devil's Advocate. And yes, Trump Tower. So his name was mentioned. They used his penthouse. Trump Tower is 721 through 725 Fifth Avenue. And there it is, Trump Tower, Wikipedia. Trump Tower is at 721 through 725 Fifth Avenue. That is Daniel 7:21 through Daniel 7:25, where it says the horn made war with the saints through, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High. A horn is a trump is a horn. Jesus said the Antichrist would be here in his own name. I come in my Father's name and you receive me not. But if another what? Well, it was Jesus, he was the Christ. If another Christ, Antichrist, if another comes in his own name, him you will receive. He is received over there in that land today. And they love him over there. And so Jesus said he would be here in his own name. The horn in the book of Daniel, specifically Daniel 7:21 says, and that same horn made war with the saints. And he's referred to as the horn or the little horn all throughout Daniel chapter 7 and Daniel chapter 8. So he's here in his own name. And we also know that SIX comes to his name. Well, apparently the Internet of Things doesn't want to work. There we go. So when you key in SIX, count the number of the man, it's the number of his name, something to that effect. Count the number of the beast, it's the number of a man. And it comes to Donald John Drumpf. Drumpf was the family surname. So we're giving you this backdrop. Drumpf was the family surname. Yes, Trump family surname, family president, U.S., family ancestral name was once Drumpf. So there it is. His name comes to 666. That's his full name, Donald John Drumpf. So he fulfills both Bible prophecies. Here in his own name, a trump is a horn and a horn is a trump. So it was changed to that. From Drumpf, that matched to 666. So both had to be there, and both are there to match. Now, so when he says Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump, well, the Seven Kings of Mystery Babylon from this AI site did name Alexander the Great and Napoleon, and so did Trump. Notice the seventh and the eighth, which all goes back to Revelation 17. Revelation 17, King James Version, Bible Gateway. And there are seven kings, five are fallen. That means five of the seven were not sheep. Five of the seven were goats. They're fallen. Two are not, though. Nebuchadnezzar, found in the photo. Then it says Darius the Third. No, actually, it's Darius the Mede. The AI site lied to you. Go figure. And we don't know if Hitler's on there. We would know Alexander the Great would be there. We would know more than likely Caesar, Augustus would be there, representing all the great empires of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. You've got the Babylonian Empire, Nebuchadnezzar. You've got Darius the Mede for the Mede and Persians Empire that overtook the Babylonian Empire. Nebuchadnezzar's son they took over. But Nebuchadnezzar and Darius the Mede were both sheep. They were not fallen. University of Florida now has their eighth coach, and he is said to be a twin or clone. I'm speechless. This is literally a Billy Napier clone. So they put that out there in the press, and then they made him, and then they're saying he's the opposite. Well, that all goes back to when Blofeld and Skyfall was facing 007. They were looking through the looking glass at each other, and Blofeld had the right eye wound, but also in Skyfall, Bond had the right eye wound. He had the right eye wound all throughout, and said that his hobby was resurrection. He told it to the Antichrist, or AC, or his name was AC in No Country for Old Men. The initials were AC. Don't forget Donald Trump, Damian Thorne from The Omen, same initials, same amount of letters in both names. So they don't try to hide anything. Trump's mom's from Scotland. James Bond's mom was from Scotland in Skyfall. Um, it just goes on and on. You go to Trace Stokes' archives, you click playlist and watch Donald Trump Antichrist series. It is extremely deep as we get into all the movies and so forth. Saturday Night Live did count the arms: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. These were the twins. They lowered themselves both simultaneously at the same time out of the picture, and giving the twins with Trump's hair symbolism. And for his TV show, watch how many slices there are of him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then he is the eighth. The eighth is of the seven. It's the twin symbolism once again. Blofeld, count how many slices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, Blofeld had the right eye wound in Skyfall when he was facing Bond through the looking glass. They were looking at mirror images of each other to the point to where Blofeld, his image was fused with Bond's on the right-hand side, and it showed Blofeld on the left-hand side. Let me go. There's a very weak photo of that I was able to find. Let me check the volume because I played a video and that sometimes will jack it. Okay, we're good. So see Blofeld with a right eye wound. but he's also blended with Bond, who I showed you also had the right eye wound. And that's the same as in and that's why Billy Napier, a clone, and yet they're total opposites. Or the Joker saying to Batman, "You complete me." Okay. So in the film The Dark Knight. So they just completed the ritual of the eighth coach since Steve Spurrier. There are seven kings, five are fallen. Billy Napier was the seventh, but the eighth is of the seven. You just saw the clone in the press. I knew they would float a twin clone because for football reasons. I knew they would do that, float some sort of twin clone in the press, and they did. And that's all they have to do. They just have to do their little rituals, and the AI or the ghost of machine writes the script for people. People just follow orders from people above them. They don't ask questions. They trust the process. When these football coaches are talking about their methods or what they do or talking to the press or, they're always giving you the Mystery Babylonian company line, the party line. And they all use the same terms. They'll use journey. They'll use, yes, the process, but, resilience. They just wear out these same terms over and over and over. They have these mantras, these mantras. So seven kings up to Billy Napier, five are fallen. Five got fired, but two of the seven did not get fired. Just like two of the seven were not goats, they were sheep. Darius the Mede and Nebuchadnezzar were sheep. They both loved Daniel and his God. Darius the Mede said the same thing about Daniel's God as Nebuchadnezzar, and both Nebuchadnezzar and Darius the Mede loved Daniel, and they loved his God and said all the perfect, great things about his God to make them right with God. So they were right with the Lord. And Spurrier and Urban Meyer were right with Gator Nation. They won championships. The rest were fired. So they just completed their little ritual of hiring the eighth since Spurrier. And in the film, The Devil's Advocate, they came and got him out of where? You guessed it, Gainesville, Florida. What city did they get The Devil's Advocate out of in the movie? The main character, Kevin Lomax, is from Gainesville, Florida. Well, what do you know? University of Florida is and always has represented the Antichrist University. Their letters are UF, which is 216, which is James Bond's car tag. James Bond's 216 car tag. 216 is 6 times 6 times 6. And that is UF. And that's why you have the UFC, which Trump attends UFC. Dana White introduced him at the inauguration. Alabama represents Ghost in the Machine University. Their big fraternity is called the Machine. Alabama fraternity called the Machine. The Machine, secret society, come down. The Machine is a secret society at the University of Alabama. The group has operated in varying degrees of secrecy since 1914. It is alleged that the Machine plays a real role in both politics and student community and in political careers of numerous Alabama. It is the skull and bones of the South. And in the Ghost in the Machine video, they showed the Crimson Tide, which represents the blood. Remember, they have an elephant horn Ghost in the Machine video, Pink Floyd. And in the Ghost in the Machine video, they start showing the Crimson Tide. So the heads are getting lopped off, which is what happens to the sheep. Their heads get lopped off. There's a head getting lopped off. There's the head lopped off. This is the abomination of desolation, the blood flowing from the sheep, from Pink Floyd's Ghost in the, from Pink Floyd's Welcome to the Machine song, excuse me, Welcome to the Machine. Up pops the monoliths. It started happening in 2020 or 2021. There's the Crimson Tide, the waves, the crimson waves of the blood flowing. So, and there's the hands rising up of those that are slaughtered, and that's your ghost. I'm sorry, that's your Welcome to the Machine Pink Floyd video that came out in 2018. 2018, that was released on YouTube. And Alabama is Ghost in the Machine University. They got the big A representing Antichrist. Their big rivalry is Auburn. Auburn is AU. Those initials come to 121. 121 is Antichrist and Simple Gematria. Alabama with the big A represents Antichrist. They have the horn elephant sound. What type of noise does an elephant make? It makes the sound of a horn. What type of sound does an elephant make? Trumpeting. Well, what do you know? A trumpeting sound. Trump, a horn, a trump. At Alabama games, they blow the elephant. The elephants are coming, blah, blah, blah. Alabama athletics, the elephant story. So that's why you've got something like an elephant as your mascot at Alabama. It's all about the horn. It's all about the Antichrist, because the ghost in the machine is how the Antichrist gets baptized and Satan possesses the body, which ends up being the mark of the beast for all the goats. The Buckeye, the eye of the buck. Ohio State, the dotting of the I, the right eye of the tiger. You got the right eye, just like James Bond, the opening, it's the right eye that gets shot and the blood comes down. LSU has the right eye. It's the right eye of the tiger. It is the right eye wound. It is the right eye wound of Zechariah 11:17. There are seven kings, five are fallen, and one is, and the other is not yet come in. When he come in, must continue a short space. And that beast that was the twin trumps, or the twin towers, and is not. Oh, the twin towers are down. Even he is the eighth. Oh, one World Trade Tower. Just like Lord of the Rings, the two towers, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. So you run this new coach, his birthday, John Summerall, what's his name? John Summerall. He's born July 5th, 1982. When you run July 5th, 1982, to the opening of One World Trade Tower, if I'm not mistaken, that's the one it bounced off of. It was really a big one. It blew my mind. I was like, I can't believe they did that. There it is, 11,809 days. Drop the zero, that's 1189. Drop the zero, that's 1189. 1189 is Donald J. Trump. 1189. Drop the zero, piece of cake. 1189. That's what he is. He is 1189 to the opening of One World Trade Tower on 11/3/2014. One World Trade Tower, Wikipedia. That's the World Trade Center. One World Trade Center, address 285 Fulton Street. Open November 3rd, 2014, what we just ran. Folks, there you have it. They pulled off the ritual. They got their coach in. Remember the two towers of the Twin Towers? See, one had a horn on top and one didn't. And One World Trade Tower has the horn on top. Guess which one had the horn on top? The North Tower. Guess who the Antichrist is in Daniel 11? The King of the North. There's only King of the North, King of the South. Back and forth, back and forth. That's what North Tower and South Tower represented. Folks, the fact that they just now pulled off this ritual of finally, with their eighth coach, everything is complete in their world. That's what Dr. Pepper Fansville is all about. Um, Everything is in their world of football. Football is very fake, it's very scripted. So are the characters. The right eye utterly darkened Raiders, fitting or matching the Zechariah 11:17 Bible verse that the Antichrist would receive a right eye wound, that his right eye would be utterly darkened. The right eye utterly darkened Raiders logo. The right eye is blackened and covered with a patch. They played the Jets in what is known as the Heidi game on 11/17, 1968. 68, remember, comes to his name and matches Antichrist in reverse reduction gematria. We've shown you that many times. If you're new, just ask me, I'll show it to you. But 1968 was also RFK. 1968 was RFK and MLK. 1968 was also when 2001 A Space Odyssey came out. 2001, of course, the year of the twins. So 1968, 11/17, they had the Heidi game, the Raiders Jets. Very famous game where they took the Raiders Jets game off TV to put on the Heidi movie. And sure enough, on the movie marquee in Groundhog Day, it literally says Heidi 2. There was no Heidi 2 movie. They just mean that the next 11/17 or the 11/17 event. Uh, there's your horn on top. Let me get that for you loud and clear. Your Twin Towers. There's your twins. One's had the horn on top, and that was the North Tower, and the King of the North is the Antichrist. But let's go back and get you the Heidi. I took this picture from the movie Groundhog Day. Alpine Movie Theater, Heidi 2, Saturday, Sunday matinee. There was no Heidi 2 movie. Why would Groundhog Day, of all movies they can put on a movie marquee, that it would be Heidi? Because the right eye utterly darkened Raiders played the Jets. The Jets brought down the Twin Trumps. The jet engine killed Donnie Darko, which stands for Donald's darkened right eye. It goes back to 11/17. This ain't rocket science, folks, but it is a study. The Lord's put my nose right in it. I don't know why, but this stuff is like shooting fish in a barrel. I hope all this made sense. I'm sure there's things I forgot. Love you guys. Ask questions anytime. On my Bible study channel, I'm now going to move to the Bible study, which is at Trey Stokes Daily Bible Studies on my other three channels. I might cut the Bible study off at the end. We do open the book of Revelation today. I think it's our 18th Revelation study at Trey Stokes Daily Bible Studies. It's super cool. It's a big deal. It's exciting. Yep. Yep. And yep. Hey, it's 6:02, y'all, which is Revelation in Strong's Concordance. It's a great time to end the video, I guess. All right. Love y'all. If I can find the ending, there it is. I'm like, where'd I put my Zoom icon? Well, it's right there.